A 22-year-old just died chasing a physique he saw on Instagram, and the comments aren't saying rest in peace. They're asking what he was on. That's not grief, that's expectation. And if you're under 25 and lifting, that expectation is already sitting on your shoulders like a weighted vest you never asked for. Gabriel Ganley was 22, competed at the Pittsburgh Pro Dead. And here's what should make your stomach turn: this isn't a tragedy people are shocked by anymore. It's a headline they scroll past. Another bodybuilder, another young heart, another what was he taking? But I'm not here to moralize about drugs. I'm here to show you the machine that feeds them to kids. Because bodybuilding isn't just a sport with risks. It's an industry built on selling you a body that literally doesn't exist without chemical help, then pretending the natural guys just aren't trying hard enough. A study in the European Heart Journal tracked over 20,000 male bodybuilders who competed in IFBB events. 121 of them died during the study. Average age, 45. But the sudden cardiac deaths, the ones where your heart just stops, those happened at an average age of 34.7. That's not old. That's barely older than you. And it gets worse. Among currently competing professionals, the rate of sudden cardiac death was almost 33 cases per 100,000 athlete years. For context, that's roughly comparable to some of the most dangerous contact sports in the world, except those sports don't pretend they're about health and wellness. The professionals died at 5 times the rate of amateurs. Mr. Olympia competitors, 7 out of every 100 died during the study period alone. 5 of those were sudden cardiac deaths at an average age of 36. These aren't outliers. These are the guys winning. So what killed them? Everyone points to steroids, and yeah, over 75% of male competitive bodybuilders use anabolic androgenic steroids according to the research. But that's like saying cigarettes cause cancer and leaving it there. The full picture is darker. Autopsies of these young men consistently show the same thing. Enlarged hearts, walls thickened like leather, coronary arteries that look like they belong to someone 30 years older. The drugs do this, but so does extreme dehydration, diuretic abuse, rapid weight fluctuations, and protein intake, so high it stresses kidneys already working overtime. There's a condition called refeeding syndrome. After weeks of starvation-level dieting for a show, these athletes rebound so hard their electrolytes crash. Potassium drops. Muscles break down into the bloodstream. It's called rhabdomyolysis, and it can kill you. This isn't bodybuilding anymore. It's medical Russian roulette. And here's the part that should terrify you if you're Gen Z: the female bodybuilders in the same research died from sudden cardiac death too. But they also died from suicide and homicide at 4 times the rate of the men. 13% of their deaths. The pressure doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your mind. Now let's talk about the lie itself, because this isn't just about competitors. This is about you, the 17-year-old watching Chris Bumstead's morning routine, the 20-year-old comparing his 2-year progress to someone's 10-year enhanced transformation. The algorithm doesn't show you the pharmacology. It shows you the result, and it whispers, "Why don't you look like this yet?" The lie is that this physique is achievable naturally if you just work hard enough, that your genetics are the only variable, that the supplements they're selling, which by the way are sometimes secretly spiked with actual steroids, are the missing link. It's not a lie by accident, it's a business model. Follow the incentives. A young man who believes his body is broken and incomplete will spend money to fix it. He'll buy the pre-workout, the fat burner, the SARMs that aren't technically illegal yet. He'll pin his first cycle because everyone online says it's safe if you do your research. But who's teaching that research? Other guys on forums, not cardiologists, not endocrinologists, not the European Heart Journal. And the coaches, many aren't medically qualified. They're former competitors who survived their own protocols and now sell them to kids who trust the muscle more than the degree. There's no governing body checking blood work, no union protecting athletes, just a stage, a trophy, and a whisper that maybe next year you'll be big enough to matter. Okay, deep breath, because I'm about to show you the exit. And it's not quitting fitness. It's not accepting mediocrity. It's not some soft body positivity thing that pretends muscle doesn't matter. It's the opposite. It's building a body that actually works, that you actually own, and that doesn't require a pharmacy to maintain. Relative strength. That's the escape hatch. Not relative to enhanced bodybuilders on Instagram. Relative to your own body weight. Because here's the truth nobody selling you stuff wants to admit. A one-arm pull-up is harder than most weighted pull-ups. A strict ring muscle-up requires more total body coordination than a 300-pound bench press. And a handstand push-up, that's overhead pressing your entire body with zero spinal compression from a barbell. The research on natural hypertrophy is actually pretty clear. You need volume near failure, progressive overload, and enough frequency. A 2024 meta-analysis on bodyweight training showed that athletes performing harder push-up variations, archers, pseudo-planche, decline ring push-ups, achieved similar pec activation to bench pressing at 70 to 80% of 1 rep max. The muscle doesn't know if it's iron or earth beneath it. It knows tension. Most young guys doing calisthenics make the same mistake though. They do too many easy reps and not enough hard ones. 150 push-ups per week at an effort level of 6 out of 10. That's maintenance. That's not building. The data suggests you need roughly 240 reps per week at an 8 out of 10 effort, or you need to progress to variations that force you to an 8 at lower rep counts. So here's fix 1. Master the movement before you obsess over the load. 15 strict chest-to-bar pull-ups, 20 deep diamond push-ups with perfect hip alignment, 10 pistol squats per leg. If you can't do that, you don't have a weak muscle problem. You have a motor control problem, and adding weight to bad patterns just engraves the dysfunction deeper. Fix 2. Train your back horizontally, not just vertically. The reason so many calisthenics physiques look flat from the side. They're doing pull-ups and nothing else. Your lats need rows, inverted rows, front lever pulls, Australian pull-ups. The research on muscle activation shows that horizontal pulling at bodyweight can achieve 90% of the lat recruitment you get from a barbell row, with significantly less lower back stress. Fix 3. Train near failure and track it honestly. Not Instagram failure, where you shake a little and call it a set. Real failure. The last rep where your form breaks and you have to stop. That's where the adaptation lives. A study on natural trainees in 2025 found that sets taken within 3 reps of failure produced nearly double the hypertrophy of sets stopped 5 or more reps short. The difference between looking like you lift and looking like you don't. It's usually 5 reps per set. Now, I need to be real with you. If you're already deep in, if you've started, if you're considering, if you're one cycle away from the physique you think will finally make you feel okay, I'm not going to shame you, but I'm going to ask you to look at the math. The same math that says 33 out of every 100,000 competing pros will have their heart stop. The same math that says Gabriel Ganley didn't make it to 23. The bodybuilding industry wants you to believe the natural bodyweight aesthetic is inferior, that you need the size, the striations, the paper-thin skin. But look at the actual natural bodyweight athletes who have been training for a decade. The gymnasts, the calisthenics competitors, the parkour guys. They have muscle that functions, joints that don't scream, hearts that don't hypertrophy into weapons pointed at themselves. And here's what nobody talks about. The natural bodyweight physique ages better. You know why? Because it's built on relative strength, not absolute load. A 40-year-old who can do muscle-ups and handstand work has maintained tendon integrity, core stability, and cardiovascular health that the guy who spent 20 years chasing a 500-pound deadlift might have sacrificed. So what do you actually do? Here's the protocol. Weeks 1 through 4 accumulate volume, 4 sessions per week. Push, pull, legs, full body. Every set within 3 reps of failure. Track every rep. If you hit the top of your range, you progress the variation next session. Not the weight. The variation, harder use, slower tempo, longer range of motion. Weeks 5 through 8, intensify. Drop the total sets by 20% but add tempo work. 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, explosive up. Or try density clusters, 20 minutes, as many quality sets as possible, stopping when form breaks. This isn't CrossFit chaos. This is controlled, measurable suffering that forces adaptation without destroying your joints. Weeks 9 through 12, unilateral mastery. Archer push-ups progressing to one-arm push-up negatives. Archer pull-ups progressing to typewriter holds. Shrimp squats progressing to pistol squats. This is where the physique changes. Because unilateral work doesn't just build muscle. It exposes and fixes asymmetries that bilateral barbell work hides for years. The real test, not your bench, not your squat. A strict one-arm pull-up diagnostic, dead hang, no kip. Pull until your chin clears the bar on one side. If you can do that, you have a level of relative strength that less than 1% of gym goers will ever touch. And you built it with a bar and gravity. No pharmacy, no post-injection massage, no lying to your parents about what's in the gym bag. Look, I'm not naive. The supplement industry won't change. The influencers won't stop. The next Gabriel Ganley is probably scrolling right now, comparing his shoulders to someone who's running more compounds than a chemistry lab. But you can choose not to be the next one. You can choose a different metric, not how big, how capable, not how lean, how sustainable. The calisthenics physique isn't a consolation prize. It's not what you settle for when you can't afford gear. It's a body built on actual physics, actual control, and actual health. The pull-up bar doesn't care about your stack. It cares about your strength-to-weight ratio. And that ratio is something you own completely. No prescription required. So here's your action step. Today, not tomorrow, go find a bar. Test your max strict pull-ups. Test your max push-ups with a pause at the bottom. Write the numbers down. That's your baseline. That's your real starting point. Everything before that was just warm-up. In my next video, I'm breaking down the exact one-arm pull-up progression that took me from 0 to 1 in 16 weeks. No weights, no gym membership, just a bar and the willingness to fail until I didn't. If you want the roadmap, you know what to do. But more importantly, go look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're building a body that'll last or one that'll make a headline. Choose wisely.